how long does the research go back on this flow state? I mean, is this a survival mechanism? Is this something that was sort of programmed into us to defend off against sort of big wild animals, or?
Well, so two questions there. It is different. The survival mechanism is the fight or flight response.
Right.
That is different than flow. Very, very different. In fight or flight, you get adrenaline, norepinephrine, a little bit of dopamine, and cortisol. It's a huge, huge, huge response, but it's a very, very limited response. When you're in fight or flight, you have three options. You can flee, you can fight, or you can freeze. That's all the possibilities. When you're in flow, it's the exact opposite. It's options wide open. Almost anything you do, you're going to be excellent at. So you can really do whatever is in front of you. It's the actual opposite end of the spectrum. They're exact opposite responses, though they share similar neurobiology. That said, the research for flow goes all the way back to the 1870s, basically, or 1880s. So there's like 125 years of flow science, and part of it was the discovery of the fight or flight response. People had started to realize that certain high-risk situations seemed to provoke unbelievable responses, and they didn't, at the time, they didn't know it was one thing. They would look and they go, pupils dilate and blood pressure goes up, and all these different physiological responses happen. And then a man named Walter Bradford Cannon came along and discovered they were actually the same thing. There was actually one thing. It was the fight or flight response. So that was a very big discovery along the way. It was that when that was discovered, it was the very first time performance enhancement was seen as neurobiological, and it was a big shift. Right before that, if you wanted a better time in the 100-yard dash, you prayed to Hermes. You wanted to write a better sonnet, you talked to the muses. But after Walter Bradford Cannon came along, turned a gift to the gods into a byproduct of standard biology. And that was cool because biology was hackable, right? We could do something about it. We didn't just have to sacrifice our children to the gods in the hope that we might be more creative and start up a new company.